It's a very appropriate question for Goldilocks. I actually expected that to be asked of me, seeing the very radical change that we did to our logo. I'd like to say though that this brand identity development project that we undertook was actually 1 year in the making. It was a thoroughly well-thought strategy and process coming from deep market research. We have been conducting yearly internal and external market research, and it seemed to be, the customer will not go all out to tell us what they really like. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. Goldilocks, being in the business for 44 years, knew that we have to be relevant to a new generation of Filipinos. We have been renovating our stores, and there is a need for us to be fresh, be young, because the primary target market is looking for change. But that change, we all know people resist, all the way from the founders, to employees, to our franchisees, to customers. And so with 360-degree research came a 360-degree workshop. We talked to everyone and it involved our franchisees in the process. What was the personality of Goldilocks now, and what we wanted Goldilocks to be in the future. 5 years from now, what do we want to be remembered by? A brand legacy has to stay. And coming out from a very strong heritage, we wanted to protect our old customers. At the same time, we needed to embrace new customers. So it's still yellow and blue. You see a fresh shade of yellow, a more, it's a fresh blue, a young blue.
Excuse
now,
me.
those are just the colors.
Excuse me for interrupting. May I ask the guys behind, you were showing the Goldilocks logo earlier as one of the sponsors?
Yes.
Can you please go back and show the new logo? You were showing it earlier. Can you put it up here, please? Thank you.
So we worked with a company. The vision, it also works to know what your vision for the brand is. And the Goldilocks vision is for us to be a strong global brand. We needed to take this logo and make this relevant to all the Filipinos worldwide. So that also was another objective. Then came now what would be the elements, not just the color, because what will color do? It's just a different pantone shape. Where will you now translate the new font? That must go into the packaging. That must go into all the product lines. What were the products that we had to rationalize? So it's a well thought out process, and you really have to be extremely patient if you're in the marketing department, because if you have 3,000 employees, all of them have something to say. If you have franchisees, you have to listen to them because they are your stakeholders, and most importantly, what the customer will say. So this was subjected to a lot of tests. So when a brand tries to change something, it must also have the implementation also well thought out, not just the planning, but how are you going to implement it. And it's going to be a 1-year rollout also for Goldilocks. It cannot be overnight. We have to work with the employees, because if you just change the color, if you just change your packaging, but not work with your people, who are your frontliners, who are the ambassadors of your brand, then the logo change is immaterial.
Okay, so you did involve 100% of your stakeholders. And you, in a sense, ask permission from them, at least ask their contribution, their opinion. How did you handle disagreements? First, the ones, the owners, the ones with my hair before I dyed it. Pinky, how can you change this thing that we created when we were young? Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. How did you handle that?
We paid respect to the Goldilocks old logo by coming out with a signature line. On the original products of Goldilocks, we call it Goldilocks Signature. We gave it a retro feel, and so this was to sort of not really appease them, but also assure them that what they started with was going to be maintained. Because Goldilocks evolved over the 44 years to come out with new products and new services, but we kept the core products and we call them classic, and it's what we call our classic line, or as you will see now in the packaging when you go to the Goldilocks stores, or you see recently the commercial of Ding Dong Dantes, we talk about Goldilocks Signature.
Okay, one last follow-up question. Victor, Robert, and I prefer blondes. And that was your logo before, correct? Nawala. Ang Goldilocks nawala.
Yan, wala.
Oh, maraming yun ang memory nila.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you talk about primary target market. There's also a secondary target market.
Kami yun. Tanda na.
So, we talk to the secondary market. The reason why the moms buy in Goldilocks, and it's for their children. So, we ask them, was this face still relevant to you? To see in our stores. And a lot of people gave us feedback, especially the children, that they see the G more of what Goldilocks is more than the face.
Okay, good. Okay, now we go to the left.